Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library System. And we're going to do some earrings today. We're going to continue our chakra trilogy and make earrings. We made our necklace already. So let's make 3 pairs of earrings with different beads. So what you're going to need for this is either 4mm bicone or either bicones or rondelle crystals for 1 pair. And then you're going to need a selection of seed beads for the other pair, for a 2nd pair. And the 3rd pair will consist of, well, I'm using, I'm missing one. I'm using some semi-precious natural stones, also in 4mm. Where's my other one? I'll find it. Anyway, so that's what I'm using today. We're doing 3 completely different pairs. We're going to use 20 gauge wire for 2 of them and memory wire for the 3rd one. And the pliers that you'll need are going to be our usual pliers, our round nose, which are called that because there come the little arms are completely round. We're using a chain nose or a square nose, if you want to call it that, pair. They're slightly rounded on the outside and completely flat on the inside. Now, I would suggest that if you're just going to buy your flat nose pliers, that you get a pair that are smooth on the inside and don't have the little teeth or grips on the inside, because those will mar your wire if you're not very, very careful. The 3rd object that you need, or the 3rd tool that you need, is a pair of cutters. Now, these, you can get 2 different kinds. You can get this kind of cutter that's flat on one side and concave on the other side, has a little well there, or you can get flesh cutters like this that are flat on one side and just slightly bowed in on the other side. Either one is fine, either one works, and either one will be just fine for this project. I already told you you need 22 gauge wire and memory wire, and that's it. That's all we need for this project. So let's go. First, I have to find my other bead. Oh, there it is. So we're going to go ahead and get down here to the other camera and get going. So the first one that I want to do is this one. It's kind of a little climbing branch with the 7 chakras, red, orange, and I've got a burnt orange here. Oh, wow, that's not very clear, is it? Let's see if we can clear that up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, dark blue, which is considered not cobalt. What is the other blue? Anyway, dark blue and purple, and to finish out your chakras. Now, I am going to challenge you, as I did with the necklace, to look them up and see what each of those colors represents. But those are your 7 colors. Okay, so in order to make this particular pair of earrings, what we're going to do is, that doesn't go with this. Each one of these takes about 1.25 inches of 20 gauge wire, each one of the little stems. So what I'm going to do is cut that off. And those of you who get kits, you're going to have one long strand of wire. You may as well just leave them all together instead of cutting them off. So about 1.25 inches is what I need. Let's cut that off. Let's go ahead and cut the second one as well. And You're probably not going to need all of this, but we'll just go ahead and go with it anyway, because it's better to have too much and have to cut some off than not to have enough, and then you have to start all over. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a small little stopper at the bottom of my first limb. So I'm going to grab my pliers. I'm going to bring this down a little closer. So I'm going to grab my round nose pliers and just pick up the tip of my wire with the tip of my pliers and make a bend in my wire. Doesn't have to be you're not making a full loop. So I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way around my wire like that. That's all I need. Then I'm going to grab my flat pliers and I'm going to squeeze the short end to meet the long end of the pliers, because I just want a little nub to act as a stopper for my beads, just like that. So I'm going to put one bead on. Oops. And then I'm going to make a loop at the other end. Now, because I've already got mine started, I want to make sure that they match in length. And all I'm going to need for my loop is about 3/8 to 1/2 inch. It depends on how large you want your loop to be. And the loop does not need to be that large. So I'm going to go with 3/8, approximately 3/8 of an inch, which for me is going down just a very small way down my pliers, about 1/8 of an inch. So there's my wire going down about 1/8 of an inch down my pliers. And you can either eyeball it or measure it. It's up to you. Make sure nothing's sticking out the back so I can get a nice round loop. And just rotate my pliers till I have a little bend, because it's going to bite me at first. Go back down there to that 1/8 of an inch away from the end of the tip of my pliers, and make another turn. Come on, you know you want to work with me here. It's biting me all the way. Okay, so now I think I might have a better grip. And just keep rotating until I have a loop. There we go. There's my loop. And now I'm going to check, since I've already started, and make sure that they match. The length of my little wires match. And I can see that this is a little longer than I need, which is better than too short, because now all I have to do is cut a little bit of the loop off. I'm going to go right here and just cut a small amount of the loop off and reclose. And let's see if that's the right size. Go back down there to about 1/8 of an inch down my pliers again and reclose my loop. And let's check that out. There we go, much better. The tiniest bit longer, not much. I could either leave it or I can snip off a little bit of the tip of my loop if you're really being anal about it, and reclose. And now let's see what I have. There we go. Nice. And let's do the next one. Same thing. I'm just going to take the tip of my pliers and grasp the tip of my wire. I'm going to make a 3/4 turn on my loop. Worked better that time, yay. Don't need to make a full loop, just about 3/4 of the way around. And then I'm going to squeeze. And you'll notice the short tail is running parallel to the long piece of wire. That's where you want to stop. And I'm going to squeeze the short wire in to meet the long wire. So I have a little nub. Yay. That's all I need. Just a little stopper for my bead. And slide my bead on. And I'm going to make my loop. And I can see that it's going to be too long already. Because I only need about this much left. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to cut that down to about 3/8. Right now it's about a half. So I'm going to cut a little bit off the tip, then I won't have to adjust it as much. Let's cut that off. I cut it down in my little thing here. I don't have to chase the end because I've controlled the cut. Good for me. Okay, so I'm going to slide my wire about 1/8 of an inch down my pliers again, and I'm going to make a loop just like I did before. Just a little turn, then open my pliers and reposition, clamp back down. Oops, don't want to slide. Another little turn, open, clamp, another little turn, and I'm going to keep doing that until I have a loop. There we go. Let's see what I've got here as far as length. Okay. There we go. Teeny tiny bit longer than I need. So what do I need to do? Just cut off inside the loop right there at the tip. And reclose my loop. And let's take another look. Nice, very nice. Okay, so I've already cut all of the rest of my little wires that are going to go on my necklace. And now let's just put it together. Now, the order of the chakra starts with the red, which is the root, and ends with the purple, which is the crown. Okay, so we'll start with the red and then the orange, yellow, green, light blue, the dark blue, and the purple. And let's just put it together. So the red is going to attach to the orange. So the loop is going to go just above the bead on the orange stem. So we're going to open that up. Best way to open it is to use your round nose or your square nose pliers and just twist that up, attach it just above the bead, and close it back up. Okay. Make sure it's completely closed. Okay, there's my first one. And then the next one is going to be the yellow one. The orange is going to attach to the yellow just above the bead. And when I say above the bead, I mean it's going to be the head of your stem is going to be the round circle, and the bottom of the stem is going to be the little nub. So you're going to go just above the bead, in between the bead and the loop. Let's open that up. Again to the side. Attach it to the yellow stem. And close. And make sure it's completely closed. There we go. And let's go on to the next one, which is the green. So the yellow attaches to the green, again, just above the bead, between the bead and the loop. That up. Slide the green stem on and close. Get in there. Closed it too soon. And close it. Check and make sure it's completely closed, and it is. So far, so good. Okay, and then the green to the blue. Sorry, that was my phone in case you heard that. In there. And always attaching that loop between the bead and the loop at the top of the stem. Make sure it's closed. Very good. And then the dark blue. Open. Let's go back there a little further. And attach between the bead and the loop. Close. Oh. Well, let's completely close this up now. Oh, work with me here. See how there's just the tiniest little space in between the loop, the back of the loop, and the stem of the wire, and it still came out? That's why you have to make sure it is completely closed. There we go. That does it. Yes. And last but not least, okay, there we go. That's the way you go. I'm looking at it because something looks off. Okay, there we go, there we go. Yes, that goes that way. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay, last but not least is the blue. Oh, maybe that goes this way. Why does it look weird? Okay, that goes that way, that goes that way. Yeah, that's right. Last but not least is the purple. Attach the blue one to the purple one just above the bead and between the bead and the loop. And close. There we go. And there it is. Neat. Neato. And now all you need is an ear wire. Now I always like to make sure that they are going in opposite directions because they should be mirror image in your ears, not going the same way. That's me. I just prefer to have a mirror image so that they don't, I think it looks weird the other way if they don't. So there's my earring. Now all I need is an ear wire, and I'm going to show you how to make one real quick. All you need for that is about 2 inches of wire, maybe 2.5, depending on how long you want the little tail of your wire to be. So I'm going to give myself 2.5 inches of wire, 20 gauge. Snip that off. I'm going to make a small loop at one end of my wire. So just a tiny little bit away from the tip of my wire. I'm going to make a loop. Oh, just like that. I'm away from the camera. Sorry about that. So I just make a little loop just like we did on these. And then you can use an ink pen. Let me see if I have an ink pen or a pencil or the side of one of your tools. And you just want to place that just above. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. It always happens when I'm doing a video. You just want to place the object, the cylindrical item that you're going to use to wrap and make your circle for your ear, your half circle or loop. You just want to place it just above the bottom of your loop or just below the bottom of your loop. And then you're going to wrap a long tail around that item. Just to get a little loop. And just until the little loop meets the long tail of wire. And I can take that off of there. And then shape that long stem with my fingers. Just give it a curve, and I already have one, so I should match it up with that one. I want them to be as close to the same as possible. I'm just going to shape that with my fingers, just give it a little curve. And then I'm going to cut off the end because I want it to be the same length as the other one. When you make your first one, it's easy because you're not matching. You're not trying to match it up to anything. The second one, you want to match. So I'm going to snip off the end. Take that tail off. And then I'm going to grab my round nose or square nose pliers, either one. And I'm going to make a little bit of a ledge there. So I'm just going to turn it up just a little bit, just like that. And then I'm going to continue to shape it until it looks the way I want it to. This one's a little shorter than that one, so I'm going to just take a little bit off the tip here. And make my little ledge. And there's my ear wire. And just shape it until it looks the way you want. There's my ear wire. Now I just open up the loop. Again, you always open your loops to the side because you want the loop to stay intact. So open the loop to the side, attach it to the crown part of my chakra, which is the purple loop. Make sure I'm going the right direction here because I want them to be mirror image. Okay, so that needs to go that way. Yeah. Am I right? Am I right? Yes, I am. And close up my loop. And just make sure that the loop is completely flush closed. And there's my earring. Oh, one looks a little longer than the other, but that's easily fixed. But there are my earrings. This one right here looks a little shorter than that one. So I'm going to extend it just a little bit. Let's just do that right now. Yeah. Okay, make the little 3/4 loop. Okay. And squeeze my little nub. Take this one off of here, and we're going to redo you. Okay. Slide my bead on. Measure to that one. Very nice. There's my little stem. So let's cut off what I don't need here. Take that down to about 3/8 of an inch. Make my loop. Just like I did before. It seems a little too long this time. So we'll fix that just a teeny tad. This is a really nice one because it's easily adjustable to whatever you need. Check it out. That looks good. And let's attach it. To my orange one. Put them on. close the loop. Yes, there we go. And now let's take another peek at what I've got here. Yay! They're my earrings. Yay, nice. Okay, that's pair number one. Hang those right up there where I can admire them. All right, and let's go on to earrings number two. Now, these are going to be what I call my tornado earrings. We did a tornado bead before, and somebody took their extra beads out of a class and made earrings out of them, and I loved it. So we're going to do that, except that we're using crystal on something else. So I thought we would use seed beads on this one. Very bright. Okay, so what we need for that is 8 inches of wire, 20 gauge, 8 inches of, 20 gauge wires. We've got our wire. And the first thing that we're going to do is make a spiral on the bottom. I'm going to make a nice little spiral. So, taking the tip of my pliers and grasping the tip of my wire, I'm just going to make a small loop. And then once I have my loop, I'm going to continue to wrap around that loop. Just wrapping the wire around itself, just like that. Then I'm going to grab my flat pliers. Let's make that nice and close. And I'm going to continue until I have a little spiral. And I'm going to match up with this one, and this is 1, 2 rings around. 1, 2. A little bit more, so 1, 2. Okay, around here. See what we have. Just a little tiny bit more. There we go. It's my little spirals. I'm gonna match there. Yeah. And then what I need to do is bend my wire so that the spiral, spin my wire back, so that the spiral is centered on my wire. Just like that. And now I want to make a stem to wrap my beads around. And I gave myself about 1/2 an inch. That's what I gave myself. You can make it longer if you would like. I'm going to bend it right here at the same spot that I bent this one, because I want them to be the same size. And that was about 1/2 an inch. So there's that. I bent that back at a right angle, and now I'm going to make a loop. And it doesn't have to be a big loop. So I'm just going to go about 1/4 of the way down my pliers to make my loop. And I'm going to wrap the long tail of wire over the top of my pliers and around underneath the pliers until I have a loop, just like that. And then I'm going to grab my square pliers and hold on to what I call the face of the loop, which is the flat part of the loop. Then I'm going to wrap the tail around this short stem several times just to give it a little more weight. So I'm just wrapping all the way down the stem until I get to my spiral. That's it. So there we go. And now I'm going to start putting my beads on. So this does not have to have any rhyme or reason because they're going to be just wrapped around there. So you don't have to do them in any order from root to crown like we did with the other. So I'm going to pop one bead on there and let it drop down to the stem. Then I'm going to wrap the wire around, grab another bead, pop that on there, and wrap the wire to secure it in place. Let's wrap that around. And you can put your beads on anywhere you want. I try to fill in all the little holes. But the wire is part of the design, so. Okay, and then let's wrap that around to secure the next bead. And let's put a bead right here. Let's go with the green one. And wrap that around. And there's another space there. Let's put this blue one on. Looks like I'm actually going in the order of the chakra. That you're going to be able to tell once it's finished. Okay, blue one's on there. And let's grab the dark blue, pop that on. Wrap that around. And last but not least, in this one little space is going to go the purple. Yes. And wrap that around. And then what I'm going to do to finish it off is just make a wrap right here under the loop, just like I did here. Let's make a nice little wrap. And you're probably not going to use all this wire. You can wrap it as much or as little as you want. So I'm just going to wrap it around there several times till it resembles what I have here. All I did on the first one was just use up all my wire because I hate wasting my wire. I think that's good. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, let's clip that off. I had that much left. Should be enough to do something with. Clip off that tail as close as I can get to the wraps. And then use my flat pliers, my square pliers, to push that little end down amongst the wraps so that it won't snag on anything, particularly your ear. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is my earring. Let's make an ear wire. Let's do another ear wire here. Okay. Couple of inches of wire again. Really only need 2 because I used 2.5 last time and ended up not using them all, using it all. A little loop, just like I did the first time. Use the, I think I used, did I use this one? Which one did I use for this? One that could be similar. Again, go back behind the loop and wrap my long tail of wire around whatever cylindrical item you're using to make your circle here, make your little half loop for your, that goes into your ear. Just wrap that around until the loop meets the stem. Here we go. Now, I want to show you something because when you're doing that, it's going to shift. And so this little round part, see how that's off? It's popped up and off to the side. All you need to do is take your pliers and flatten it. There, now it's fine. And now I just need to curve it into the shape of my wire. Check it against the other one and make them match as closely as I can. Go, clip off that tail. Put in my little ledge. Right here at the tip. Go. That's good. It might be a little sharper than I need there. Good. Yes. And the length is good. Open up the loop. Slide it into the top loop of my bead and close it. And there are my earrings. There they are. Very nice. Now, I want to tell you what you need to do when you make these is take a little emery board or nail file and just round out the ends, the edges. You don't want to put these sharp edges in your ear like this. You want to round out those edges, smooth them out before you put them in your ear. But there's our second pair of earrings. Let's move on to earrings number 3. These are really neat and very easy because we're just using memory wire. So everybody says you can only do bracelets with memory wire, or if you use necklace and memory wire, same thing. That's not true. You can make shapes with memory wire, which is what we're going to do. We're going to make a nice little marquee shaped earring with memory wire and some bicone crystals. We're going to use that to make an earring. So all you need is one loop of memory wire. And I want to caution you, when you're using memory wire, these cutters are not what you need. You want to use memory wire cutters because you will ruin your cutters if you don't have a heavy duty pair of memory wire cutters. These are made to cut tempered steel, which is exactly what memory wire is. It's not like the soft wire that we use, the artistic wire, which is very soft. This is hard. It looks deceptively thin, but it's very, very strong, which is how it keeps its shape. So memory wire cutters are the thing to invest in unless you have a pair of pliers that you don't really care about, because it's going to it's going to ruin the sharpness of the wire, or it could break of the pliers, or it could break the pliers. So you don't want to worry about having to try and use dull pliers. Get yourself, just invest in a pair of memory wire pliers if you think you're going to be using memory wire. So that's enough of that. Let me come down off of that soapbox and show you how to make these earrings. So all you want to do is go about a third of the way up. I just need to go about a third of the way up my wire, grab my square pliers, just like that, and I'm going to bend the small wire towards the other half of my wire. So this half, I'm bending towards the other half, just like that. That's it. I'm going to cut this off because it doesn't need to be that long. So I didn't really need a whole ring. You really only need about 2/3 of a ring. maybe 3/4 of a ring. But again, it's better to have too much than too little. I can see I'm gonna need to cut some off for the part that goes in my ear, and I would suggest no less than an inch for the part that's going to hang in your ear, because this is an all-in-one. It's going to go right in your ear, and you want to have at least an inch more if you would like, but I would give yourself at least an inch and then try it out and see if you want to cut some off or have more. Start with more, like I did. Okay, and then I just need to cut this down to match the other one. And what I did in order to get all I need, enough space to get all of my beads on, and then another inch or so at the top, just to have some length. So that's what I have here. From the top of the curve to the bottom, I have an inch, and where the beads meet, I have an inch and a quarter. From the top of the curve to the very bottom of the curve is about 2 inches and a quarter, because I need this little nub that's going to keep my beads on. So let's put my beads on in order. I'll go ahead and snip that off just a little bit. Okay, squeeze a little more. So I'm going to snip that down and leave myself about 1/8 of an inch more, or 1/4 of an inch more at the bottom, so that I can make my little tip. Yeah. So I'm going to snip that off. I'm going to snip it a little bit longer in case I need to cut some off. Again, it's better to have too much than too little. You can't do anything with too little but start over. Look at what I almost did. I almost used my regular pliers. I'd have been crying over that. All right, so let's snip that off with my memory wire pliers, like a good girl. Boop. And let's slide on my beads. We're starting with the crown and ending with the root. So we're going backwards. Crown with the purple, the dark blue, the light blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. And again, I would really challenge you to go and look up what the colors mean, so that you'll know exactly what you're wearing and why, what they mean. It's always a good thing to know. Okay, so let's look at that. Yes, I can cut some off because I only need about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to cut that down. Hold on to that tip, hold on to my bead so that everything doesn't go flying. Rip that off, get rid of that tail, and let's measure again. Measure once, measure twice. Make sure you have what you need. That way, it'll be easier. I think I need even less. Let's take a little more off of there. I don't want that to go over the side, so I'm going to make that bend a little sharper. And the pliers sharpen that bend a little bit. Yep. And measure again. Yes, I can take a teeny tiny bit more off. Not much, just a little. And now I'm going to make my little nub. Okay, so I'm going to make my little loop. Now I am going to make a tiny 3/4 loop rotating against or away from the natural curve. So the curve's going this way. I'm going to make my loop the other way. And that is my phone telling me, wrap it up. I said I wanted to get all 3 of these done in an hour, and I think we're going to make it. Okay, so I'm going to grab the tip of my wire with the tip of my pliers, and I'm going to make a tiny little bend. Now you're going to have to really control this because again, this wire is tempered steel. It's very strong, and you're trying to turn from the tip of your wire with the tip of your pliers, and it is not going to like to do that. So hold on tight with your wire, hold on tight with your pliers, and let's give it a very strong turn. Let's see how we do. Oh, there, got it started. Keep going. It's just like we did the nub on the other one, except that this wire is about 10 times as strong. Okay, turn. Do I have it? I think so. And now all I need to do is squeeze that little part down back against the long wire. This one's tinier, so I'm going to cut just a teeny bit off. That's a little bit of a challenge with the memory wire pliers, but there. Turn a little more. Told you, it's gonna fight. Doesn't want to do it. You're gonna have to show it who's boss. And sometimes the wire says, well, you know what? I'm in charge. You're just gonna have to show it otherwise. The other thing is you can also use the square pliers just for a short turn, just enough to get it going. Put that off. Okay. And let's squeeze down our little nub. Goodness gracious. And that's it, folks. That is our earring. Now I want this to match up. I can see this is a little wider than the other one, so I'm just going to squeeze it. Close that up a little bit. Check it out. Close it up a little more. And let's check and see what I've got here. Still a little wider, just a tad. that together. And there we go. There are my earrings. Oh, and again, for this, I wouldn't try to use an emery board. I would use a metal nail file to file the ends of the memory wire before you put it in your ear. It could be a little closer, just a tad. There we go. There are my earrings. Here are the other earrings. And where's the other pair? There's my little loop there. It's not showing on camera, but it's there. Here's my little loop, my little spiral. And last but not least, oh, there are our 3 pairs of earrings. What do you think? Nice. All of the chakras accounted for. We used some nice natural stone beads for one pair, some crystals for another pair, and some seed beads for the third pair. And I think we're all chakra'd out for earrings. We're doing pretty nicely. There we go. So this is our second set of chakra inspired jewelry. And we're going to have one more. We're going to do a bracelet because you can't do it without a bracelet. But I just wanted to do them all differently with different types of beads so that I'm not a big matchy person, but you can wear them together. They will coordinate with each other. But I wanted you to have 3 types of earrings because everybody doesn't necessarily want really long ones and everybody doesn't necessarily want really short ones. So we give you some small ones, mediums, and long ones, and you can decide which one, if not all, you like. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed watching me do this as much as I loved making these. And I hope that you will make your own. And I'm so sorry about that. I clicked the wrong button. Let's try that again. Here we are. So I hope you will make your own earrings because these are a lot of fun. And I really think that you'll enjoy wearing them. They're so colorful and so pretty and just, oh, yeah. Those are gorgeous. I hope you'll do this for yourself. I wish I had a way to display my earrings. I just don't. I actually have an ear and people think it's weird looking. I have a weird ear mannequin and people say, that ear is creeping me out, so I don't use it very much. But anyway, those are our earrings. I hope you will make your own and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it gave you everything you need to make your own 3 pairs of chakra earrings, or 1 or 2, whichever. But honestly, I'm going to be wearing all 3 of these because I really, really think I'm going to enjoy them. And it'll help me center myself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll come back for the next one. Well, maybe not the next one, but we will be doing a 3rd one in the chakra series. That's going to be a bracelet, and I hope you'll join us for that too. I hope you like the necklace, and I hope you like the earrings. So until next time, I hope you have a good week. the great weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.